Memphis, 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 Memphis. Nothing but Memphis. Everywhere we go, it's Memphis. Memphis, Tennessee, the beautiful land in the world.
And I'm thankful for this guy who tweeted and said I don't have that fire in my eye no more. That game right there was for him. That's what I do. I prove people wrong each and every night, and that's for him right there.
Hi, this is Tom Izzo at Michigan State, and you're listening to Grizz 901.
Yo, what up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to Grizz 901, your official and favorite post-game show here with the Memphis Grizzlies. Tonight, we have a lot to get into. I'm telling you, I'm fired up. Me and Nate have not talked yet. We have not spoken. We literally got on the show right after the game ended. I know he's hot. I can see the chat getting hot already. It's going to be a fired up show, so I hope you join us. If you can, do us a favor. Hit the like button if you're over on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, just hit the like button as well and subscribe. But also on Twitter, like, share, whatever you can do. This show could be one of our best just because I can feel it bubbling. I can feel the anger bubbling from the fans. But I want to go ahead and get through a lot of tonight, and it's going to be the game recap. That's what we're going to start off with. Second thing is I have a very funny Grizz Trivia question, and I think it's going to get Nate, and I think it's going to get a lot of you. I think it's also going to surprise you that this person was in the event he was in. So we're going to get to that, and the last thing is we're going to send you on your way with the Lakers, which are playing right now against the Heat. The Heat are up big at the moment in the first quarter. We're going to get into that in the preview. But listen, that's all I got. Let's go ahead and bring in Nate. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Yo. All right, I know you're fired up. You asked me how many curse words you could say. Like, I know that's really where we're going. So let's go off the top rope. I'm going to hand it off straight to you. Initial thoughts coming off that game.
Oh, what in the actual hell was that? Like, who do you want to fire? Who do you want to fire? Name somebody. Yes, you're absolutely right. Let's fire them. Doesn't matter who you said. Outside of, ironically, Zaire Williams is one of the guys tonight who I was like, you know what? He did about everything he could do. And Bane. Let's not forget about Bane. The only guy who's been good the entire year that he's played, including Ja. Let's just go off what happened at first. Everyone wanted to fire Taylor in the first half. He can't make the layups. Sorry. Jaren missed enough layups in the first 3 minutes of the game that they would have won the game if he just made them. That's how many points we missed on that. Sorry, Taylor Jenkins can't make the layups for you. He also can't defend Emmanuel quickly in transition for you. He can't do that. He also can't decide in the heat of the moment to not shoot a running three with 20 seconds on the clock for you.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Everyone wanted to fire Taylor in the first half, and I'm like, dude, he can't make the decision. Second half, Taylor earns getting fired. Because they're going on a run, they cut the lead down to 10, and then he subs out half the lineup after the timeout, and what do you know? The Raptors blow it back open to 19. I mean, Jesus, actual Christ, Mother Mary, dude. Like, what does it take to not be that much of a dumbass? Like, what are we doing? I'm sorry. Like, I'm not a Taylor Jenkins hater, but Christ almighty, have you any feel for the game? Any? If your team goes on that run, you don't sub them out. You finish the quarter with them. What are we talking about here? It is absolute malpractice. And then they finally get a little bit of momentum back, even after that absolute buffoonery. And then Tillman gets called for a foul where he actually went straight up. And for anyone who's like, hey, they just called that and didn't overturn it, Scotty Barnes jumped from point A to point B. That's why that didn't get overturned. Tillman went straight up. It's one of the most clear-cut you could have challenged it and changed it. He doesn't challenge it. The Raptors go on another mini run to close the quarter. Like, again, I am not a Taylor Jenkins hater. I'm not a Taylor Jenkins defender. I have been neutral on Taylor Jenkins. What are we doing, dude? It is absolute malpractice. And then You get to the final bit, they cut it down to like 5 or 6, and they take like 2 fadeaway threes in the corner in a row, one by Ja, one by Jaren. And I'm like, when is that a good shot? Do you practice that shot? I mean, Jesus H. Christ, dude. There was not a single person on the floor outside of Desmond Bane and Marcus Smart tonight that didn't look like they should lose their job. By the way, where's Ja Morant? Have you seen him?
I think he's on the side of a milk carton.
Does he still have the flu? Is he getting IVs in between timeouts? Because what happened to the guy from the first 4 games?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even look at his stat line. He may have amazing stats from tonight. What do you have? 28, 8, and 9. That's awesome. Still doesn't look like himself. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. It's like, it's crazy. But and then Luke Kennard not hitting shots.
God, he was
needing
so
to hit
bad.
shots.
Yeah.
Marcus Smart taking some Dylan Brooks ass shots tonight. I don't know. Like, it was so bad in so many ways. And you still had a chance to win at the end of the game. And then you took some of the most terrible shots you could possibly take in the situations. Not to mention, in the middle of another run, Jaren just shoots a freaking runner 3 with 20 seconds on the clock, which I probably already hit on. But my God, dude.
All right,
what are we doing? What are we doing?
Listen, that was epic as always. I love when you go on these rants because it makes me happy. Because
unfortunately, they made it easy. Everybody made it easy. They all sucked. They all made terrible decisions. I don't know. Like, you could blame anyone for that loss, and you're correct. Other than, I can't believe I'm saying this, Zaire Williams is one of the people, and Desmond Bane. I cannot believe it. I don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. It has got to be the stupidest team I've ever watched in my life, including the coach, apparently. I'm not even a freaking Taylor Jenkins hater. I'm not. But my God, I'm out. I'm out after tonight. I can't believe that happened. It was one of the most dumbfounding decisions I've ever seen in my life. I mean, he's going to stick to his rotations. You can't. Yes, I can expect him to play him all the way through when they are running the floor. It's
all right. Let's get to the game a little bit.
You had a good Zaire game, and everyone sucks so bad that you can't even talk about it. I can't even act like, hey,
that's the problem. You can't discuss the game because it's so frustrating. Let's get into I've been scrolling through a lot of the comment section, so thank you for kind of hanging out with us. Listen, I wanted to have Nate go on as much as he could. I saw it boiling before the show even started, and Nate was kind of going off. But let's get to a couple of these. One, John 17 is, and this is my issue, is the fact that like it takes us getting punched in the mouth early on. You go down 20. The dude that they aren't playing with energy. Like there is no energy on this team. Like this is the no fun team. Like I don't understand. Like this team literally just gets down and just wears it and just turns it off. We go into halftime. We kind of come out. We feel like we look like ourselves. We're getting a little juice. And then literally we just stop. And then something happens where we then flip a little bit of a switch. Turn it up a little bit, and then Ja tries to act like the hero. The crowd can finally get involved because they've all woken up from the snooze fest that's going on in the court, and they can get involved, which actually allows you to have a good home court advantage. This team is not fun to watch right now. They're not. Well, I took a nap at halftime just so we're on the same page. I set my alarm, and I woke up, and it was like 8 minutes to go in the third quarter because I was so tired of watching that. I took a little snooze. So that's my issue is the energy is so lackluster. It's embarrassing.
Well, and like it wasn't like that for 4 games. And then what happened? They're children. They are children.
Yeah.
Nobody plays with consistent effort outside of Bane and Smart. It's the only 2, man. Honestly, I think he gets bullied a lot of the time, but I think Santi brings it every night. I don't think Santi goes a night without bringing it, even if he just doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But like Ja, maybe he's feeling it. Maybe he's not. Jaren, I mean, depending on the possession, a flip could switch. I mean, it's just, I don't know. And then the rest of them are like barely can drink. So they actually are children. I'm just like, I don't know what to say. Like you don't have all the pieces to compete at the highest level right now, but you got more than enough to beat that team.
Yeah. I agree.
And
Listen,
you just didn't show up. You just
that
didn't
team
show
wasn't
up.
good. That team is not good. Okay, let me take a step back. That team is better than they were. They move the ball very well. And that's the biggest thing is ball movement, which obviously creates a little bit more of a chaos. We talked about that in the last episode. It is about moving the ball. Our team has zero movement. Zero. Like, it's embarrassing how much it is a dead offensive possession most of the time. And you know what happens?
What's his face, St. Andrews? Go. You're done.
Yeah.
If that's your job, you have screwed the pooch so
Yes.
astronomically bad. It's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, I'm just like, I'm ready to fire everyone right now. That is unbelievable. Like, they didn't show up, and then when they finally did show up, Taylor subbed them out.
Yeah. I don't understand it. It is confusing. Listen, the rotations, I don't get in that too much because I understand that you want to get minutes, you want to get people in. I do understand the feel for the game because when you're on a run, you're not going to mess up that too much. I understand timeouts. You can go ahead and sub somebody in. But for the most part, it doesn't make sense. There is no feel. I don't think Taylor does lack at a gut decision, a gut feel during the game. And I know that's been one of his biggest things. But this team, for whatever reason, they have played with no emotion. And like Dak Daniels is saying, like, how do you not rebound well? But then also you're not a good transition team. Like, if you're not a good rebounding team, that's fine because you're getting up and down the floor, you're creating chaos, you're getting motion, you're catching the ball, you're moving, you're not stagnant. That's the issue. Right now, they're making themselves a half-court team. It's their own fault. And that's the biggest thing is it the island of Patrick St. Andrews? Is he the issue of the offense? Or is it that literally our best players that are making $30 million cannot understand they have to get the ball and go? You have to get – this is your style of offense. They're professionals. They're adults.
Somebody's got to go. Listen, I can get heated. I can be an emotional guy. This season, it's been pretty easy to look at all the stuff happening. We can just kind of be like, you know what? Like, there's so much that's wrong with this team right now. I'm just going to say that was truly unacceptable on everybody. Everybody. I mean, I've accepted a lot of the Taylor criticisms this year. I've never been hey, it's time to fire Taylor Jenkins. But after that, I'm like, dude, like, I don't know if I could have just gotten a shot to the temple from Ray Lewis and thought that was a good idea. It's like, it's abysmal. It's just abysmal. And I don't understand it. I don't know where the energy is. I don't know why they don't move the ball. I don't know why bad shooters shooting 28% take threes with 18 seconds left on the clock. There was nothing good about that. The only good thing about that game is that if Jaren makes his layups, you probably win. And well, listen, I'm not here to hate on Jaren because he's in a slump right now. It is what it is. He's not making shots, but he was making them for the entire first part of the year. So if he keeps getting those looks, I feel good about him making them. Yes, if he keeps getting those looks, I feel good about him making them.
Listen,
that's not me saying
Jaren was fine.
Yeah, that's not me hating on Jaren. That's me honestly saying if he just isn't in a slump, makes those layups, I think you win the game. Other than that, they still win in spite of themselves.
Yeah.
They still win in spite of Taylor. They win in spite of their bad decisions, not making shots. Like, I mean, how many shots can you miss in the restricted area, dude? I mean, it was just terrible. But I wasn't heated until he subbed that lineup out. I just can't understand. Like, and he can take credit for the loss tonight. See Alan saying he took credit for the loss tonight. I can see someone saying, hey, like, I have to do a better job. Yeah, you do.
Spoiler alert.
Like, dude, there's a certain point where it's like, it's just absolute malpractice. That was malpractice to do that. And then to not challenge the X thing, I'm like, You have a run. Even if you think you're going to lose it, you challenge it because you have to try and keep it going. It's just, I mean.
Taylor Jenkins tonight. I got to get this team better prepared. We're flat. It's on me.
Okay, what about the time you weren't flat and you made a buffoonery decision to sub out? It's not just that. Again, I've not been a Taylor hater, but I don't know what to say about tonight. That was just, it was abysmal. After a first half where I didn't think it was his fault at all. The only goofy lineup I thought he sent in the first half actually went on a run. So,
yep.
I don't know, man.
Let's look at some of these comments again. Shout out Grizz Company May. We haven't seen you in so long. I know you've been in and out of here, but I just want to bring you up because I hadn't seen you in so long. But one of the OGs, and so I want to make sure. But King Meeks, you might be my favorite tonight. I always have my favorite, but King Meeks, Nate is cooking tonight. Nate's pissed off. This is pissed off Nate. I don't know. What is your thing to say tonight? What does this say? Grown?
This says gross.
Oh, gross.
And by the way, put that tag on anyone other than, I'm going to keep saying it, Zaire Williams, because if Zaire Williams shows up, where were the rest of you?
Yeah. Question from Chris, always a favorite. Possible that Jenkins has lost the locker room. Thoughts, Nate?
I mean, maybe. I have zero defense for Taylor Jenkins. You could say anything you want about Taylor Jenkins tonight, and I'm not going to argue it. Like, yeah, 100% it's possible. That is not the team we've watched for the past 3 years.
No.
Nothing about it. No. And you have your players. Like, you want to say we can't go up against Minnesota because we don't have the size. We can't go up against LA because we don't have the size. Can't go up against Denver because we don't have the size. I'm with you.
Yeah.
There's flaws in the roster. You have John Morant, Jaren Jackson, Desmond Bane, Marcus Smart, who, despite the fact he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn right now, is still an elite defender that still makes winning plays. He did it tonight. He couldn't hit a bunch of shots, but he still was making winning plays tonight. Put a lot of defense on Siakam. Siakam did not want to go up against Marcus Smart. Yeah. You have too much to not beat that team because you just didn't show up and you didn't make good decisions. It is a poorly prepared team that makes poor decisions and apparently smokes layups.
All right, real quick, let's hear from Taylor Jenkins. He was just on the podium. I want to go ahead and get to him real fast. If you don't mind, just bear with me for 1 second.
Tonight, it's on me. What did you got it down to 5 a couple of times in that fourth quarter? What did you make of the looks your team got, down the stretch? Yeah, I mean, I thought our defensive activity was a whole lot better there. We got them playing in the half court, physicality. We got some big rebounds. We played fast, and then there was a couple of possessions I wish I could take back to get us better organized. I think it was a little too late. I thought our pace of play, just playing fast, moving the ball, was really good. And then there's probably a couple I'd slowed them down a little bit.
You breathe hard.
What did you like about Zaire Williams?
I don't know why I didn't do that.
Kind of attributed there late third, early in fourth quarter. Yeah, I thought he did a really good job on ball. Trying to keep the ball in front. His recovery speed was good. Played a great second half for us. Obviously, knocked down some shots in the first, but I thought just put two sides of the floor together in that second half, knocking down shots, getting some rebounds, running the floor. I thought, again, navigating a bunch of pick and rolls. It was pretty impressive. I mean, he was scheduled to be out of the rotation tonight, and he's been putting in a lot of work last couple of days, staying ready. Told him, whenever your number's called, come out there and play winning basketball. I thought he did that tonight.
All right, so Taylor Jenkins is talking about a Zaire Williams being out of the rotation, which he has been, and he was able to step up. So, shout out to Zaire Williams. He did step up and play a very good game. This was one of the best Zaire games we've had in a long time. There's zero chance he's going to be able to back this up and have another good game. But I'm happy that he's able to step up and play really well, even though he has sucked and he has been out of the rotations. Let's go ahead and get back to some of these comments real fast. If you have a company, sponsor, you want to be the sponsor of our segment of the section, our comment section. I'm screwing it all up tonight. Our comment section, you can be. What's up, Nate?
Sorry, I got to bring this up. King Meeks, are you calling him Zari because he's sorry? I thought you were just misspelling his name for a minute, but if so, that's classic. That's amazing. I want to give that a shout out because that's amazing. Sorry.
All right.
No, go
Kevin from Twitter, Kevin Wooten says, do y'all believe that having a big man would help a lot? Like, I know tonight you're going to be completely burned on a night. But having a big man, because everybody wanted X, he played fine. He's a non-threat. He does nothing for you other than maybe get some rebounds. Vince Williams can do what he's doing other than maybe not be able to guard their big guy. But do you think a big man helps?
Helps you with the decision on Taylor. Because if you get a big man, then the roster is there. If you get a big man, there are 0 holes in the roster where you can't compete with anybody. Like maybe you just don't have the horses on the bench, but generally speaking, you have the full set of pieces. Yeah. But I mean, I really don't know because theoretically, yes, that is what you're missing. You maybe want to say you get someone like a Mikal Bridges, 3-and-D wing, something like that. But just on paper, that's what you're really missing is a true big that can help you against guys like Pearl. It can help you against guys like AD or whoever. AD is sort of an exception. He can only do so much. But in general, that kind of player.
Yeah, as Jack Jones saying, the joy that you get from the enjoyment factor, I guess, of watching X over Biz is completely night and day. Watching Biz seems like a job. Like like it hurts a little bit. He's doing a good job, but man, it just hurts watching him. Nothing looks right. And so Biz has played okay. He played very well in the last game, which is so confusing because he did play well in the last game. I do understand why you would go with X here. They're a much smaller team. Pirtle is not dominant in the least bit. And so really you're going with a more athletic guy in X. That way, if you do get switch, you're able to guard the 3-point line, even though they had 0 chance of guarding the 3-point line tonight. They were lost as a goose.
I don't like. There's one where Santi was literally guarding quickly and then just stopped guarding quickly.
Yeah.
And then there's another one when Quickly hit a little jumper towards the end of the game that he literally sat there for a second because he was waiting for someone to close out on him and no one did, and so he hit a free throw.
Ryan's responding to no, we need more ball handling. I agree with that. I do think we need a big, but I do think the ball handling, like there is no athleticism on this team other than Ja. And Bane is the other athletic guy, but he's not very athletic. Bane is a bulldog, kind of he's a little, he's rough. It's not smooth. It's not athletic. It's just him going to work.
Well, Jaren's an athlete. He doesn't know how to use it a lot of the time. He doesn't make good decisions, but he's an athlete. You've got athletes. It's the only thing you've always had. Even Zaire, who had a really good night, but is generally painful to watch. He's an athlete. Just Ja's the only one that has put it together.
He can't create his own shot.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying like you've got athletes. So
well, I guess that's what I mean is like a hooper in a sense. Like you have basketball players and you have hoopers. We don't have any hoopers. Maybe like we have Ja. I don't think there's anybody on this team that I think would be considered a hooper. Probably Bane now compared to when he first got into the league. But
maybe there's a question mark at least there. It could happen.
All right, King Meeks has got a question. What would it take for Jenkins to get fired during the season?
More of that.
There's no chance he gets fired during the season.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but listen, man, I've never called for Taylor's job once, but after tonight, man, I don't know, dude. That was unbelievable. Like I said, everybody was bad in their own way outside of Dez and Zaire, but that decision to pull those guys in the third quarter, I mean, that was the game. That was the end of the game. If you don't pull those guys and they go on a run, that is what it is. Right, you stuck with your guys that were on a run and then left them in, and they beat you. You pulling those guys is like unbelievable.
Well, you officially lost.
About Zaire, yeah, I do.
No, agreeing about Jenkins being gone.
No, like I mean, after tonight, I am definitely leaning that way. I could not believe that. I could not believe he did that tonight.
Yeah. So I've never really entertained this question because I do think and stupid's a bad word. But I do think it's ignorant to say who we're going to replace him with. But I think the writing is on the wall in a sense of this team has a lot of issues right now. And when their energy is down, that kind of goes to maybe losing a little bit of the team, losing a little bit of the locker room if you're not able to motivate them. Any thoughts? Because I saw Dak Daniels earlier was asking about Kenny Atkinson. I honestly have zero idea on who they would replace him with. And it's not during the season. It's not going to happen. And if it is, then so be it. But I don't think it's going to happen during the season. I will think it will happen middle of next year if it doesn't get better. I think they're going to give him the offseason for sure.
Well, and to be really clear, I am not the guy that calls for coaches' heads.
Yeah.
Like I'm not. I will criticize coaches all day long. Even now, I'm not calling for Taylor Jenkins' head. I just can't really bring myself to do it, to be honest. And that's why if like I'm sitting there like earlier this season, I was like, Brandon Staley should be fired tomorrow. But it took me so long to get there. He was literally fired tomorrow. He was fired the next day. Like I was last to the party on it. Like I don't do that. But to even have me here entertaining whether or not that should be something I say tells you where things are.
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
That there's no excuse for it. There's just no excuse for the mistakes that are being made.
All right. Dak Daniels, thank you for hanging out. He's got
congrats.
I'm snoozing. What's going on?
Congrats to Dak Daniels. Going to have a son tomorrow morning. Congrats, dude. That's awesome, man.
Very much so. I didn't read the last part. I saw he said he had to get a good night, and I was about to go into the stats real quick. So shout out, man. Like, in the chat, give some love to Dak Daniels. Very much so. One of the OGs as well. Dak is one of the good ones. So, congrats. Good luck.
Yeah, congrats, dude.
Don't screw it up. All right, let's get to the stats a little bit. The Grizzlies took 9 more shots tonight, just overall. 94 shots compared to 85 from just complete field goals from the Raptors. 42 compared to 48%. They had 42 3-pointers tonight compared to the 3-pointers of the Raptors of 26. The Raptors went 12 of 26, and the Grizzlies went 15 of 42. That's so many, man. That's too many shots. Like they have to get more downhill, and that's what it comes down to. Is if the offense has no energy and just kind of is stagnant, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get those 3-pointers because they're going to be more open because you're not a good shooting team. They have to understand they have to get to the front of the rim, and it comes with when you have the ball, you kick it out, and when you catch it, you shoot it right away, or you should be coming into the ball, accepting the pass, and coming into the lane, creating more movement, more chaos. That's what you have to do. Right now, they're very stagnant when the ball gets kicked out to them.
Yeah, there's no threats. There's no cutting. There's no ball movement. There's very little off-ball screening. Like, it's just a mess.
It is a mess. The offense is really, I think, the issue. 42, as Grizz Girl says, 42 is too many. It's honestly like 10 too many. I think 32 is a good number. I think the 30s is okay. But 42 is just way too many.
Well, and it's bad decision. It's not like you're forced into all these shots either.
Yeah.
Like you're taking them willingly.
Well, that's what they want you to do. That's the defense.
Exactly. You're just taking them willingly. And you're taking them with like 18 seconds left. It took Marcus Smart until like the middle of the third quarter or the fourth quarter to stop just jacking them up. And you just got to know better. But you also got to go after some of the players too, man. Ja Morant is too good to be settling for threes and trying to get to these threes. And I know he started out hot, which is great. But then that's not your game. So when you get to the fourth quarter, like a corner three when you're down, I think it was 6, maybe less than that, with however much time left on the shot clock, plenty. It's not the shot, man. It's just not. And so you got to make better decisions. But listen, it's not a smart team. They don't play smart. They make those decisions. And at the end of the day, that falls on coaching too.
It does. 100%. You have to get in.
Listen, I'm mad at everyone tonight, but there was one decision that completely just let the game go. And so anybody wants to fire their Taylor Jenkins takes off tonight, you will get 0 pushback from me.
Real quick, when Ryan has this dumb information that he puts out, I don't know who Jordy Fernandez is, Besides,
Sure.
I know now he's the associate head coach of the Kings. Like,
That's right there. He told you he is.
I'm saying when he gives us this just asinine information of, hey, here's a name to watch. Honestly, he's very smart with this stuff. So I wanted to share that because I have no idea who that guy is or anything about him besides that title right there. So I want to share that. But real quick, let's get through the stats because I think it'll be a little telling. Jaren, 4 of 8 from deep tonight. Ja, 3 of 6. Bane, 2 of 6. Aldama, 2 of 4. Zaire, 4 of 7. All sound great. The issue, Marcus Smart, 0 of 5. David Roddy, 0 of 2. Luke Kennard, 0 of 4.
Yeah, but you can't have that from Luke, man.
In a nutshell, yes, it is a bad number. But it's not as crazy as that actual total number shows. It's just the issue of Marcus Smart is just ice cold. Whatever that splinter is in his hand, it's just making him shoot even worse. But he's not a good shooter in a sense. He's not a good fit next to Ja. I've said that. I don't think he ever will be. I think he's fine. I think he's a Dylan Brooks improvement once they figure out chemistry. But that's all he is. And I think this team will be held back by that dynamic duo of Smart and Ja. That's another story, another day. But Ja goes off for 28, 8, and 9.
That's just stupid. It's stupid that he went for 28, 8, and 9. And I think you and I would both agree. Like, that's not the Ja we saw in the first 4 games.
No, it's bad.
Like, I don't understand it. He just doesn't look as aggressive as he was when he first got back. And I don't think you can blame the sickness anymore. And he's still at 28, 8, and 9. Like,
exactly.
He's so freaky good.
Yeah, 28, 8, and 9. And go look at the box score if you don't mind. Anybody else listening to this, go look at the box score. I think it'll be very funny when I share a little bit of this information. But 28, 8, 9 for Ja. Bane, 22, 4 of 8, 4 and 8. Jaren, 24, 4 and 0. He did have some blocks. I'm not going to click on that. Aldama, 7 points, 8 rebounds, another good rebounding game out of him. Zaire, a good game out of him, 18 points and 6 rebounds. Kennard and Conchar and Roddy were just, non-existent. Not non-existent. They weren't really doing much. The weird thing is that Conchar didn't play after that first half. I thought he played well. I don't understand that. Anyway,
minutes went to Zaire.
So, which is fine. But looking at that, all right, so the 3 starters, 20-plus points. And then you have Zaire with 18. Everybody else is less than double digits. Go look over at the Toronto Raptors. Siakam, 24. Barnes, 20. Pirtle, 7. RJ Barrett, 14. Quickly, 26. Schroeder, 16. It's more of a ball movement offense, which allows everybody to get easier baskets. That's why those guys aren't better than Desmond Bane. Those guys aren't better than the other players we have. The problem is we have 3 guys in the starting rotation scoring, and that is it. There's no ball movement. They're getting what they want whenever they want it because it is one-on-one basketball. The offense is the issue in this. The energy is the issue, and a lot of that will be fixed if they ever figure out a way. I'm hoping this road trip can kind of bring them together. But, man, it's going to be tough. Very tough. All right, last thing about this before we get into this segment number 2, I want to go ahead and get into Grizz Trivia and keep the night rolling. I think we've talked enough about this. We're beating a dead horse. So let's go ahead and move into segment 2. Anything else you got?
No, that's time to be done with this game.
It is. All right, let's get into a little break real quick. Give me about a minute. We'll be right back.
People have this thing like, oh, I'm keeping the receipts, and I'm going to remember who said this. We wasn't lying.
Well, I get it. Yeah. So that's one. I've reached a point where, like, anything you say on Twitter, I can ignore it.
Right.
Like, I'm not promising you I'll never pop back at somebody. Sometimes I do. I might today, but I often don't. I would say for every 50 negative comments I get, I might reply to 1. I don't get involved.
I'm getting there too, man.
Yeah, but you don't look like you're getting there. I see you arguing all day long every day. You gotta wait. There, man. You gotta wait to go.
Well, I might get more. Well, I don't get as many as you.
Well, how about this? And I'm not saying you have to get there. I'm just saying I am there. There are different ways to handle social media. I just found it to be largely unproductive.
Right.
But
I do it for calisthenics sometimes.
Right.
Like I don't feel no way. I just okay. Let me just engage in this just for fun.
Yeah.
Tune in to the Anthony Sane Show Wednesdays and Fridays at 12 p.m. weekly on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, welcome back, and thank you for joining us as always. If you would, go ahead and hit the like button on the YouTube, but also if you could like and share on Twitter, we'd appreciate it. If you're not a subscriber on Bluff City Media, please do us a favor and hit the subscribe button. But the last thing is Bluff City merch. If you'll go and check it out, there is some good things over there. You can get you a Grizz 901 shirt if you'd like. We're going to try to come out with some new stuff. Talking to Nate about that as well this week. And so we're trying to think of some ideas on stuff we can put up and kind of do. And so we're going to have a hopefully some cool things coming. Hopefully it brings you some happiness, unlike tonight is not happy for Nate.
You know what's bad is when Ryan is in the comments talking about possible head coach replacements. Ryan might be the most even-keeled person about Grizzlies basketball that's still a massive fan I've ever met. And even he has it in the back of his head of who could replace Taylor. It's just...
That's because he's a nerd.
Doesn't change the fact he's still sitting there thinking about it. If it's in Ryan's head, you have crossed a line. All right. We got to be done. We got to move on from that.
We got to move on. All right, let's get to Grizz Trivia. Nathan. I don't think you're going to get this. Comment section, do me a favor and please get it before Nate does.
It's not hard.
All right, Nate, Grizz Trivia. Who is the only Memphis Grizzlies player to ever be in the dunk contest?
Is it Stromo?
Stromo Swift.
Yeah, there you go.
I didn't think you'd get that.
Even I know that, dude. Come on.
I wasn't sure you'd get that because sometimes that's all the way back to 2001 when they first got here, the first year of the franchise. Stromo was in it.
Certainly before my time. I was barely speaking English at that point. So, yeah, it's certainly before my time. But, yeah, even I know that, dude. Come on.
Wow. Wow. All right. I'm impressed. Before the chat, anybody put anything into the chat. And so shout out to you, man. That was a good one. But
suck it. Go Mounties.
Shut up. All right. Let's get to a little bit of how to fix this team. Okay. We're not going to be able to solve all the world's problems, but I want to talk through a little bit of how to fix this team. And I think the chat can help us tonight because obviously they've been helping us all night long. Just like D'Angelo says, 2.5 hours, he will never get back.
Do you think we could nickname him Taylor the Terrorist after tonight?
No.
Is that not something we can do?
No.
Because let me tell you, I about ran to the other room in fear when that happened of what might come, of what I might have to say or do.
Let's move on. Okay. Let's fix the issue, right? We've complained enough about it. Let's fix the issue. I understand that coaching, moving on from this coach, as people have said, I understand that. Looking at this team, what makes sense for you? Because is it a lost season and trading some players and maybe getting some back? Is there somebody you'd like to do that? Is there a style of offense that you would like to see them run? Is there something simple that you think that, hey, this one little thing, if they could just tweak this, it might be the snowball effect of starting things going in the right direction?
That fire in their eyes.
I'm tweeting it tonight. Let's tweet it tonight. Alive in the air.
John 17 was supposed to tweet it out. I don't know if he did or didn't, but I'm
doing it tonight.
I mean, I still hesitate to say it's a lost season. I don't think there's any moves they could make, or even if they got into the playoffs, they could win a championship this year. I think there's just too much missing. Now, listen, our guy Chris, who is the resident Bluff City Media trade machiner, put together that piece for Claxton and McHale today that maybe does a trick. But I hesitate to say it's a lost season. And we saw the way they played those first 4 games with Ja back.
Yeah.
And like I said, even tonight, I did not think Ja looked like his normal aggressive self. And he finished with 28, 9, and 8. Like,
yeah.
If you get this team back to clicking like they were in those games, I think things look a lot different. I think you can win most nights, right? What was it? They had to go on like a 33-21 type clip.
It was big. Yeah.
Something like that.
It was 30. So it was 30, 31 and 19 before tonight, I believe.
I still think if you get the version of the team that showed up when Ja was first back, you could still do that. But my thing is, I don't know why we're not getting that. And there's a few games where a lot of people are sick. There's guys missing. And then you get people back who have been sick. Ja was already trying to get his wind when he got sick and then had to miss games anyways. So there's a lot of reasons you could put on it. But then you get a night like tonight where I know it's the second night of a back-to-back, but you got like two guys on the team who can use that as an excuse. One of them missed a bunch of shots tonight, but still was given a heck of a defensive effort. The other one pulled his hamstring for like the third time this year and wasn't playing. So, like, these young guys, there's no excuse for it. And you see them make these runs. I don't know. I don't know how Ja comes back and you have that swagger for the first four games.
Yeah.
God, that sounded nerdy. Swagger for the first four games. But then you get to this point and it's gone.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. So I still can't say it's a lost season because we have seen that team really recently play to an extent where they could get it done. But let me tell you, dude, they are at the point where they can have like single digit efforts like that for the rest of the year. Like you have 10 more efforts like that the rest of the year. I don't think you make the playoffs. I don't think you sniff the play-in. Like that can't happen. And I don't know if it's what Chris was saying earlier where Taylor's lost the locker room or what. That would surprise me. That would surprise me, even though I think that was, like I said, you can throw any Taylor Jenkins criticism out you want tonight. I'm not going to argue it. He's had that locker room for so long. It would surprise me if he's lost it. But something's off.
Yeah.
Something's off.
It doesn't look like this is Ja's team. It doesn't. And it's probably
struggle between Ja and Bane?
No, I don't think so. I just don't think that it's not his team. It just seems like there's no, like, I don't know. There is no swag to this team. Like they literally just, they look like they're going through the motions. And when things get right, they actually like can turn it on, right? And that's the great thing about these dudes. They are incredible and they are very good. The problem is they're trying to turn it on when they want to, and they can't do that right now. They have too much of an uphill climb ahead of them. And honestly, what hurts about all of it is the fact that a loss like this is not that big a deal. It's a back-to-back. A team's healthier. This is the first game of their road trip. Like, this is a game that you possibly could write off and say, they won last night. It's a back-to-back. You did have two guys that played the night before, didn't play tonight. You could write it off to a lot of things. The issue is they started off 6-19. That's the problem. At this point, every game is super important. You can't lose games that you can win against teams that aren't great. Because guess what? This next 3-game road trip is tough. Let's go through it real quick. You have Friday, an ESPN game at the Lakers. You have Sunday at the Suns. Then you have the Mavs on Tuesday. That's tough.
Yeah.
Like, those 3 in a row are going to be so tough to win one, let alone 2.
And what's hilarious is if you just took the team off of that initial run with Ja after those first 4 games, I'd be like, you can still win those.
Yeah.
Any of those given games you can win. But the team that we saw, honestly, since Ja got sick has been like, there's no semblance of the team that was there the first 4 games. It's like they had this spurt and then it's like the emotion's gone and now they're just kind of out there collecting a check. Like it's not like you're getting bad nights out of your guys. Even Jaren, as rough as it was offensively for him tonight, he put up 20 exactly. Ja had 28. Like the numbers are still there. It's just the the ball movement, the charisma, the chemistry, it's not there. It's non-existent, and they can't put a full 48 together. We'll see, man.
John 17 says there's no heart. It's a spiritual issue.
Yeah. They all need to go to church.
You got to get ahead, go to church. So looking at these next 3 games, I think that's what's really important, is can they get a win? Listen, the Lakers haven't been playing well, but we are a bad matchup for the Lakers. We just are.
No, the Lakers are a bad matchup for us. Just want to make sure we get that.
Whatever.
Well, it's an important distinction.
We're a bad matchup for them in the sense of they're going to kill us. No, but I think that you're going to see, probably the best version of Jots on ESPN. I did just send out a tweet that he doesn't have the fire in his eye anymore. # no chip. So we'll see. Maybe it'll get back to him. He'll probably block me at this point. But I do think that the Suns, they've been struggling. They're looking for issues. They're looking for answers to their issues as well. And then the Mavs, who have been playing incredible. Another good game tonight out of them. Those are going to be 3 tough ones to win. But as Ryan says, Mr. Positivity at the moment, only 6 games back of the play-in, but it does feel over right now. Because you got to think 6-game leap is big when everybody's beating everybody, right? So you still got to beat these other teams that might be jockeying as well. You're not just going up against one team. You're going against, multiple teams. So I don't know. John 17 did tweeted out the no fire in his eye as well.
You got to put the whole team. The whole team doesn't have that right now.
So we just sent out everybody. So individually, Bane does not have the fire in his eye anymore.
No, please don't go after the entire team one by one. I'd rather you didn't.
I usually don't do that. But you know what? They need it. Maybe this will be something. You know what? Last time, it was the Lakers game. The only reason I did that is because last time it was prior to a Lakers game. And the only reason I felt like I should just because of
honestly,
good fun
I'm hoping
times.
Josh is not on Twitter. Just social media isn't that good for those guys, in my opinion. But
yeah. So listen, if we're fixing anything, my thing is simply there has to be a different offense. It's pretty simple to me. I think their defense is fine. I think your defense gets helped by better offense because you're going to see the ball go in. You're able to set up better. If you're moving, the flow of the game's better. You're able to fly around a little bit more, stay connected on defense. All those things can be helped when you can actually put the ball in, when you actually can get into a flow of the game. This team was out of this game. And they worked themselves way back into it, but I'm so tired of the moral victories. This isn't a moral victory game.
No.
It might look better on paper, but we know they were down by 20 plus, and that's the issue. But all in all, I do think that the Grizzlies, they have some things to figure out. The great thing about road trips, usually you're together, you're going to go through it, and honestly, the expectations are that they should not win any of these games, right? Is that your expectation?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they're not expected to win anything, what's the worst thing that happened? They lose all 3? Maybe they'll come together. We'll find out. But I do want to break down a little bit of that Lakers game. But as D'Angelo says,
silver lining,
we need a miracle because it sucks to be a Grizz fan.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and what's crazy is, again, if they just make their layups, they probably still win that game. That's what's insane. But
all right,
it's all be in spite of themselves.
Let's get to the third segment real quick, and then we'll get back here in about 1 minute. We'll play some Tiger stuff. 42 seconds. Why not?
Has FAU somersaulted over a lot of other teams as your most aggravating fan base?
Oh, easily. They just think they are so elite because they made this one run. You won this one fluky ass game where there were 6 or 7 different calls. Everyone were up in arms about what are we talking about? And it's not like a thing where they're like, hey, Memphis, great game. You guys are great competitors. I can't wait to see what the future holds between us. Because if they said that, I would respect them. I don't respect FAU fans. I don't.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, we are back. This is the Grizz 901 postgame show, your favorite postgame show. Tonight's been a great night. It's been a funny night. Nate's done. I can just look at him he's just done.
I'm just looking at it and I'm just like, man, like I'm trying to figure out, 'cause I like watching Ja play. I'm like, he played well tonight, but it didn't look right at the same time. Do you know what I mean? Am I crazy for that?
No, he just didn't have any energy. He didn't have that fire.
It just is like, but trolling aside, like I'm literally trying to figure it out because I watched and I never sat there and thought Ja was not playing well. I thought he made one really bad decision, and that was that corner three to when the game was within reach. That's the only. But at the same time, I was like, it's not him, right? And so I'm looking at the numbers. I'm like, am I going insane?
No, the stats are there, but that's why stats don't always matter. Like, dude, whatever it was it 28,
9 and 8 on 50% from 3, 10 for 18.
Great night overall. But the problem is that was a walk in the park for him. Like, he got that just by doing the bare minimum. Like, he's catching the ball and he's doing that eventually going one-on-one. You can do whatever you want and get those stats. You got to include your other guys. You got to get the flow of the offense. He's not getting the flow of the offense. That's the issue. It's not anything else. That's the issue.
Well, I do want to hit on this too, because it just popped in my head while we were talking about it. And I think it's pertinent not just to this game, but to the season going forward. They don't have a pecking order. They none of them can figure out whether they want it's Ja or Bane in the closing moments. And Ja wants to defer to Jaren still in the closing moments. Like, and this is not so much an indictment of the team as much as it is like, this can't be a question anymore.
Yeah.
Like Dez has put the team on his back. He did it against the Spurs. He sparked the comeback tonight. He's been the most consistent player for the Grizzlies. There is one guy that is a potential top 5 player in the league on your team.
That's it.
And there can't be a question about that. And there can't be the ball in Marcus Smart's hands at coming down. Like, when they got to the end of the game and they're having Smart bring the ball down the floor, or they're putting the ball in Zaire's hands and running a pick and roll, like that can't happen when you're in the important moments of the game. Yeah. And it doesn't look like they have a pecking order. And the more that I'm thinking about it, the more that makes sense with them not having an identity. Because they don't like, who's the guy? And it explains that in my mind of, hey, they don't know who the guy is. The problem with it is you are in year whatever of this. What is it, Josh? 4th year, 5th year? Like, he's the guy.
Yeah.
He's always
They know that, though.
But you look at the game and it doesn't look like it, does it?
Because there's no flow of the offense.
No. It's not just that. At the end of the game, they can't figure out whose hands they want to put the ball in. And Daniel, I just watched it happen, and we've seen it happen, and we know in the first game he was talking about giving it to Jaren. That can't be the case. And everything else we've talked about tonight, including the flow of the offense, it comes back to a singular source. Like, that cannot be a question on your team.
Listen, when I'm gonna rebuttal that a little bit. Like, Jaren had a mouse in the house. Like, on offense, Jaren had the mismatch for sure in that game. That's why Ja was making the smart play of saying, hey, I'm going to go to him because he can back him down and get to the front of the rim, potentially get fouled. That's why he's going through that. I understand that. You have to just say, hey, I'm that dude, and I'm going to go win the game.
Yeah, so don't misunderstand me. And even tonight, I don't mind going to Jaren early and often.
Right.
When the game's on the line, there is the guy.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of explains sort of I haven't been able to put my finger on. And what's been going on is, like, Ja doesn't look as aggressive and he doesn't look like himself because he's not being that.
He's not.
And I think I think it comes down more to, like, they as a team, for some reason, or maybe it's just him. Maybe the team knows and it's just him who doesn't know. But like he's the guy. Like when that game gets down to 6, I don't care who's been cooking. Because if it's Dez, what's going to happen is as soon as that thing they're about to get over the top, they're going to double Dez. And then that's not going to work anymore. He is the guy that gets the ball when it matters most. And right now, I don't think that is something that at least he has identified.
Fair.
And in my mind, that explains a lot. And again, I know there'll be people listening. I know Chris right now is saying, what's the coach for? Like, I got no argument for you tonight. But,
well, listen, throughout the entire game, when they sucked, it's not about whose team it is. I'm just being honest. It's not. It's the flow. It's the flow of the offense of we have to get it to the best shooters at the right spots, move the ball, get downhill, get to the front of the rim, create open shots, move, pass, whatever, all that stuff, right?
Yes.
The problem is all of that is still screwed up. So if you add in what potential you think that it could be, like, hey, they might have identity issues of whose team it is.
Yes.
That is an issue big enough in itself of closing games. But we're talking about like multiple things, and all of these come back to the offensive end of the court. So the island of Patrick St. Andrews, what are you doing? How are you helping that offense get to that point? Is it just going to be just flat out job being incredible is the only way this team wins? Like that is the only way that they've won really so far. Is him being incredible other than the Spurs, and the Spurs aren't good.
Yeah.
And so when it comes down to that's really what it has to be better. But we spent long enough on that. I do think that's important to talk through. But let's go ahead and get into the Lakers preview on Friday. They're playing right now against the Heat. I don't think that there's anything else that you can say other than Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis, if he dominates, he could dominate the game, and that's enough. And then everybody else gets opening shots, and that's the wrap on that. But I do think that this is has to be a Jaren game. If Jaren can figure out a way to match up well against him, somehow stay out of foul trouble, which he's done a very good job of that, I think this could be one of the biggest coming together moments. And I think that's what they need. They need a big win to kind of come together. And look, you have 3 ahead of you at this point. And I think the best way to do it is you have to figure out a way to get Jaren going. You have to have a way to stop Anthony Davis, and you got to figure out the rest. And so I want to hear your thoughts in the comments as well. If anybody has any thoughts on how you would attack the Lakers, because I think that's going to be very crucial. Plus, we might be able to sign you up for a coaching position.
Boxes and elbows. Boxes, elbows, and prayers. That's what the Grizzlies have to go with, because you ain't got nobody for Anthony Davis. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's such a struggle right now, even when they're getting to the paint and they've got shots they should make. They're smoking them. So going against that kind of length and that kind of rim protection is going to be tough. I mean, you got to hit shots. And I don't know about you. I have very little faith in their ability to hit shots. The Lakers are an especially bad matchup for them.
Well, they're also struggling right now, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, boxes, elbows, and prayers. I think that's your chance. The problem is Anthony Davis, you don't have anything for him, man.
Right.
With Steve-O out, you've got nobody. And so if AD shows up and decides he wants to dominate, then AD's going to show up and dominate. I don't see anything they have to stop it. And if they do find something, it's going to be Jaren like having something click, which would be amazing. But the Grizzlies would have to show us something they haven't shown us all year for them to be able to stop him. Now, you could get a passive AD game or something like that, but I sort of doubt it. But if you have guys that make shots, again, there's outlier nights where teams that shoot 32% shoot 48%. And I think you need that kind of night. Like, you can't have a goose egg from Luke Kennard from 3. And he had good threes tonight. It wasn't like a bunch of contested threes. So guys got to hit shots. It's the only way you beat that team is you hit those shots. You don't have the size to keep up with them regardless. Outside of that.
Well, that's the biggest thing is if you're watching the Heat right now, as soon as they're at halftime at the moment, but as soon as they get any kind of rebound or anything, they are up the court, like just getting up, just getting into the other end of the court as quickly as possible. Like they are not a team that the Lakers, honestly, they like to run. I don't know why, but they can be ran on very easily. But looking through a lot of their players, all right, so you have Anthony Davis and LeBron. You're also going to see Cam Reddish and Austin Reeves, who've given the Grizzlies issues over the past. So you have those guys, Taurean Prince, who will knock down a 3 here and there. That's pretty much it on their team. And so if you can somehow figure that out, tonight, Rui Hachimura is not playing. He started the previous game.
He's going to play against us.
Well, he started the previous game and he had 8 minutes and then never played again. So I'm not sure if there's an issue there. I'm not looked into the Lakers too much, honestly. But really it's, Max Christie's playing for them, Christian Wood, Jarrett Vanderbilt, Jalen Hood-Schifino. Like that's who's coming off of their bench. And so their bench is very weak. And so mainly it is going to be Anthony Davis, LeBron, Cam Reddish, and Austin Reeves. Those are the guys. And honestly, Cam and Austin Reeves aren't big guys, tall guys. I feel good against them, but they're going to have Cam Reddish on Ja. That's how they've always usually played it. A little bit more length on Ja, so Ja has to get to the front of the rim. And honestly, he has to go at Anthony Davis. This would be a game that I would like to see Jaren and Ja in a pick and roll, because no matter who you have, I think a pick and roll would be good because then you're going to get an instant mismatch. But my other question is, who are you playing this game? Are you playing Bismack Biyombo? Are you playing Xavier Tillman?
No, you got to go with X. Can't go with Bismack.
You think Bismack gets cooked by Anthony Davis?
Yeah, I think the only good things Bismack can bring is like general length, and it's completely negated with Anthony Davis. You got to have somebody who can at least be some kind of offensive threat, and X is not a big threat, but he at least can hit those little push shots and stuff for you.
Yeah, there's got to be a good matchup up against Anthony Davis. He's dominating already. I believe at halftime he was 1 rebound short of a double-double, and so Anthony Davis is going to be a person who's going to get roughly 20 rebounds. Like he's going to be that type of player. You have to figure out a way to get him off the boards, get him out of the paint, kind of disrupt a lot of what they're doing. And if you let them kind of hang in, that it's going to be Ja and it's going to be AD towards the end of the game. And so if you can take them out and negate them by possibly just trying to run on them, and you run. And so I'm excited about. I'm always excited about a Lakers game. I don't need it being like the run out and it's done by the second quarter game. I'm tired of those. They put me to sleep. But I'm hoping this team shows up and shows out. We should get Vince back. Vince should be back for this game, so that'll be important to get him. I'm curious what Coach Taylor Jenkins does with Zaire. Is he going to try to play him because he is tall? He did hit some good shots tonight. But overall, we do expect a loss to the Lakers, but this could be the game that really brings them together. One of these games on this road trip, I'm going to predict it now, is going to bring this team together. And when they come out of this road trip, this 3-game road trip, the team will be playing and looking a lot better than they are tonight.
I certainly hope so. And listen, they got all the talent in the world, and we've already seen it. What was it, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. When you first
it's like it's not like they can't with everything they have. Coaching, roster, everything. We've seen them put it together.
Yeah.
But I hope so, man. I hope so. Again, I'm not the guy that calls for coaches' heads, but I could not believe what I saw tonight. I truly couldn't. It was.
Listen, maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back in a sense of kind of looking inward. And sometimes that's what you need. I don't know. Anyway.
Maybe he flips it around. When's Coach of the Year? We'll see.
A little too late for that.
Yeah, probably so. But
do me a favor. In the morning at 9 o'clock, go check out the Daily Grind I was on this morning with Luke. But Luke will have a guest on, I believe. I'm not exactly sure who. He could have a solo show. But Luke will have the Daily Grind. He will be hosting that in the morning. Go check it out at 9 a.m. But also the other stuff. If you missed the Anthony Sane show today, it was on Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. Go check out whenever you get done with here. If you're still awake, go check out the Anthony Sane show. But then Friday, make sure you tune into that as well. And then the other shows that are on the network, you have On the Bluff as well as Tigers Untapped, which is more of the Tigers stuff. With the Tigers looking better and doing better, it's been a hot 2 shows for sure. There's so much content for on the Bluff City network. You got to make sure you go tune into that. No matter what you have at Bluff City, it is great content.
I was gonna say, I feel like we can't bring the comment up so it could get us flagged, but that's a hilarious comment from D'Angelo down there. I don't think we can repeat it either. There's just a chance we get flagged in this day and age, but that's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that one. But D'Angelo, we see you. We see you.
Yeah, and listen, like I said, this team could, like you said, click and figure it out.
It's going to.
And if so, then I'll be over the moon. And I want to also say, like, it's not that they lost to the Raptors tonight. The Grizzlies are not a good team. If they lose to anybody, it's not like, hey, we just lost to so-and-so. What are we doing? You're sort of the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, Spurs.
It's how they lost.
Exactly.
It's how they lost. I couldn't believe tonight. That's what drove me insane. But
well, it's just like last night against the Spurs. They didn't look good. They won. I wasn't excited about it because they did not look good tonight. They did not look good again. They finally showed up. And eventually they came back just to get a moral victory. And as we'll end with this one, as John 17 says, is they are losing to themselves. Very much so. And we hope that this road trip, as I'm predicting, they're going to find themselves. It'll be a breakthrough moment for this team. Little come together. Little kumbaya. Kumbaya.
If not, I got a bad feeling.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
Here's hoping, buddy.
Here's hoping. All right, that's all we got tonight. Do us a favor. Make sure you tune in Friday night. It's going to be after the Lakers game. Lakers games are always turned up, especially the post-game show. A lot of Lakers fans usually turn into this, and so it could have some trolls in the comments. So be nice. We'll try to do our best to kind of keep them.
They've actually been cool lately.
They have been good. Yes, they can be a troll. So just be careful. But hopefully, John does get that fire in his eyes. We'll see. We'll see if he sees it tonight or not.
Yeah, I'm going to stay away from that one.
Yeah, please do. All right, that's all we got. Thank you all for tuning in. As always, we're hoping to make sure we're giving you the best content. If you got anything for us, please hit us up in the DMs over at Grizz 901 Podcast. Give us a follow over there. But also, subscribe to the channel. We would appreciate it. And then also become a Discord member. I think it's $5 a month. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee these days, which is crazy to say. But tonight's show was great. I'm glad Nate got that off his chest. It was a good time sitting back and letting you kind of just steal the show right there.
And we don't have to put the little E next to the tag. That's pretty good.
You were nice. You kept a good tongue, we'll say. All right, that's it. That's all we got. Be nice and tell your friends.